Hello and welcome to the Crusty Couch, back from Christmas. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding dong, ding dong.
Ding dong. The Wonderland song. Christmas.
We wish you a
you,
Merry
what-
Christmas.
you know what's the song from Paul McCartney?
Oh,
It's-
simply having a wonderful Christmas
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yes.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas. Anyways, uh, hello everybody. We just came back from Christmas break.
Yes.
Hope you had a great Christmas. No
Yes.
coal, no coal.
Except for
Let you
that
know
one
that.
listener. You know who you are.
Yeah, you know. I Noah got some coal this Christmas
I
from
did,
me.
yeah. He actually came over to my place and shat it in my box. It's
Yes,
crazy. I didn't even know
yes.
he could poop
I
coal.
fudge packed him.
Yeah. God, wait, no, wait, hold on. Wait, cut that.
That's a secret. So we watched a big Hollywood hit for Christmas this year. We got to see Spider-Man. We swung into town and we watched it together.
Fizz, fizz. Yeah.
Uh, I went as like I actually did a cosplay for it. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool, I think. It was,
Yeah, I think you pulled it off very well. You were Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse.
yeah, it looked like a bum. Only
Here's
one
a
guy got it. Only one
Yeah.
person there got
Yeah,
it.
it's when we were at the theater, some guy pointed it out. He's like, "Dude, that's a great cosplay."
Yeah.
And
I
that
was
was
like, "Thanks,
the
man." Yeah, it
yeah.
was just a guy in a suit too. It was kinda weird.
Yeah, it was really funny because what he said, like, you said, like, "Nice suit," and he replied, like, "There's really only one way you can see this movie."
Yeah. I'm just like, "Alright."
I was like, that's pretty based. I respect that.
Yeah, I'm like, "Very cool, very cool."
Yeah.
But he was legit the only person that said anything, so I was like, "I don't know if I just did a terrible cosplay or people just didn't give a fuck." So, maybe
I
they
mean,
thought I actually had terrible taste, I don't know.
there was a couple people that were dressed up. Like I saw a kid wearing a Miles Morales costume,
Okay, then maybe
and
they did get it, but they didn't say anything.
yeah, there was a couple people dressed up. We saw this on. I'm not special.
I'm not special.
You're not perfect. uh, we saw this when, like the 19th of
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, the 19th. It was on
So
Sunday.
pretty much the weekend it released because it came out on the 16th, I
C
think.
Came out
Um,
yeah, it came out on the 16th, yeah, Thursday, and then we waited until Sunday to see it, which was
yes.
kind of a drag because I had to not look at, like, anything
Mhm.
internet-based for a while because going anywhere usually you skip out Reddit, Twitter, you don't go on there for a couple days if it's a
Yeah, you're pretty
movie, but
safe on there. Like
yeah.
if you skip it, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, but for the most part, if you go on, like, YouTube or something, like, it's, it's okay, you might see
Yeah.
something, but, like, this year, people were going all out with the spoilers on
It was
YouTube. It was
fucking everywhere.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
everywhere.
Because I think that,
Hammerverse.
like, above all, this movie had, like, a bigger secret to keep than, like, for example, Endgame.
Mhm.
Like, because with Endgame, you know they're gonna win. Like, spoiler alert, they beat Thanos.
Right,
You
right.
know, there's nothing really huge to spoil except for maybe, like, Iron Man's death or whatever. But,
Yeah.
but with this movie, there was such a tremendous secret and all these rumors floating around about it, about who's going to be in it, like the cast. And I think that because of that, people were really a lot more eager to spoil that moment for a lot of people
Yes.
because they're shitty. Um,
Absolutely.
but I don't know. Like this movie to me had a lot more hype around it than Endgame did, which is weird to say. But
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I think it's mainly because, like I think it is because of that secret factor, like, going into
yeah,
Endgame, everyone knows what's gonna happen in Endgame, they're gonna beat Thanos, right?
yeah,
But it's like this one, it's like nobody really knew what was gonna happen.
yeah.
Well, I mean, people know what's gonna happen, but, like, the big secret was, "Are the other 2 Spider-Man in this?"
Yeah,
Ah!
that was the big thing floating around because there was like behind the scenes pictures. Andrew Garfield, because he was promoting another movie at the time, he was really dodgy about questions about Spider-Man. He was
Yeah,
basically just saying left, right, and center, "No, I'm not in it." And
yeah.
um,
They
but
both just didn't talk about it. Nobody said anything, everyone was saying all this stuff, everyone denied it.
yeah, well,
It was very close-knit. Hmm?
Toby Maguire, I didn't see a whole lot of because he didn't really. he's not really in the public eye anymore.
Yeah, he tries not to be.
Yeah, after that one movie, fuck, The Great Gatsby, he kind of disappeared. He's not really in much.
Really?
Yeah,
I think he's been in projects, but he just hasn't
maybe
shown his
smaller
face too
stuff.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he took that Spider-Man paychecks and just fucking dipped.
Dude, are you fucking kidding
Um,
me? I would too. Holy shit.
yeah, but before we proceed, probably should have said this at the beginning, but we're just gonna like talk about this movie full spoilers. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't think that there's any way that you can really talk about this movie without spoiling the shit out of it.
No, you
Um,
can't.
and I
Well,
think that
let's
you can. Hmm?
let's just give our quick non-spoiler takes, and then we'll move into the spoiler territory.
Okay. My quick non-spoiler take was this movie was so like
It's horrible.
dumb to me. Like the
Oh really?
storyline, like it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I
Ooh.
didn't think about it because it was genuinely the most exciting movie I've seen in a very long time.
Okay.
It was incredibly exciting. I thought the action was great, and while it lacks a heart, which I'll get into a little bit later, I think that they pulled off what they wanted to pull off pretty fucking well, like as good as they could have. Um, so I was thoroughly entertained by this movie, and I really recommend it. There was some things that annoy me, but I recommend this movie.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair take.
Mhm.
Fair take. Just be careful when you sleep tonight. But I liked it.
Yeah.
I can definitely see what you mean by having a dumb story attached to it.
Mhm.
Because there is a part where I'll speak about later. There is a part where I'm just like that makes no sense. But um, I do think it's fun in its own right, and it
Mhm.
was a good time through and through. And I think
Yeah.
there's some good jokes and good moments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And genuinely, it's just a good Spider-Man film, in my opinion.
Probably. I think it's the best of the Tom Holland ones.
It's definitely the best of the Tom Hollands.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I would place this in terms of like all of the Spider-Man films. I
Yeah.
haven't really thought about it,
Okay. Well,
but it's
maybe.
definitely the best Tom Holland film so far.
Yeah.
But I think it's genuinely a pretty good movie, and
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it to anybody
Mhm.
who's just looking for a good popcorn film.
Yeah, and it's
Or
like, were we not in the times that we are now, I probably would have seen this again in the theater, but,
mhm,
I'm looking forward to watching it again when it comes out on streaming for sure.
mhm, mhm.
But with that out of the way, we're gonna jump into spoilers. So this is
Yes,
your last chance. If you haven't seen the movie,
we're
stop this
gonna
episode now. Which I
go
mean,
watch it.
looking at the box office numbers, you've probably seen this movie.
Dude, the box office is insane,
It
didn't it?
broke
Actually,
insane records.
yeah, it
Yeah.
actually broke a couple.
It hit a billion, like as we're
Did it
recording this,
really?
I think. I think it hit a billion, yeah. Which will tell you the fucking pull power that Spider-Man has. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
telling dude, Spider-Man, man, come on.
yeah,
You know it has a 94% Rotten Tomatoes?
that's pretty crazy.
That's
Yeah.
insane, especially since usually critics attack these kinds of movies.
What are you talking about? Look on Rotten Tomatoes. Marvel movies are like constantly high up rate.
Go look at Eternals, please.
Well, Eternal sucks. That's
Well,
like,
that's what I'm talking about though. But see, this
oh, I'm
movie
sorry.
is
Sorry, Paul. You're right. 1 out of 27 movies. You're right. They
not all of them are great. Look at fucking I'm sure Captain Marvel wasn't very good,
you're
you
pointing
know?
out the ones that aren't good.
Well, that's the fucking deal, isn't it? I'm telling
Yeah.
you that you're saying they're all good, and I'm like, no, they're not.
I didn't
There's
say that.
are
I said critics
look,
love Marvel typically, and you
you're
said
just
they
a
typically
Marvel
don't.
fanboy. You're just a Marvel fanboy. DC all the way.
Wait, hold on, hold on. Our argument's getting muddled here. I'm saying that the critics typically love Marvel movies. And they on Rotten Tomatoes, they're typically reviewed pretty highly. 80% for Captain Marvel is not bad.
Was it 80?
It's 79. I'm rounding up, but 80%.
Yeah, I fucking hated Captain Marvel. That movie
I
sucks.
I was not a
Anyways,
big fan of it. So
that movie sucked.
let's go
But
back
let's
to one
let's
that we were a fan of.
yeah, let's go swing in the spoilers. All right.
Fizz, fizz.
Fizz. We
So
can't afford effects. Sorry.
no, no, God, no.
That's the best we that's the best we got. How cool would it be though if we had a nice swinging animation? But anyways,
We'll hire some unpaid intern to do it.
yeah.
And then we'll just
Okay.
fire him the moment he starts to talk about pay. Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know how to approach this. Like before this movie, I didn't see the second one, Far From
Yeah.
Home, where he goes to
I
Europe.
don't think I don't think you
Mhm.
have to be
Yeah,
honest.
I kind of got the general idea. The movie at the beginning does a pretty good job of recapping. Mysterio like tricked everybody into thinking that Peter Parker killed a bunch of people, and he revealed his identity, which,
Yes.
you know, that's like fucking crazy. That was like the bombshell, I guess, at the end of Spider-Man 2 or
Yes.
Far From Home.
Yes.
Um,
It was.
so I actually really did dig that opening scene when he's swinging with MJ, like in the panic.
Mhm.
You know, I really like that scene. I thought it was like funny and kind of intense way to start the movie.
I really like that they pick it up right from the get-go because
Yeah, so it like literally picks up like seconds later, right?
yeah, it's legit
Yeah.
seconds later, they remake the scene and everything, and then they just proceed with it, and I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool.
I'll link that video you sent me. It was really cool. Like they recast a lot of the same
Oh, yeah.
extras and had them wear the same clothes. I'm like, yeah, people give Marvel a lot of shit for like being lazy, but like that does take some effort. A lot of directors won't do that because they
Yeah.
think they won't notice. Um, and I think that was pretty cool. Like I've I've never been a fan of the MCU Spider-Man movies for reasons I'll go into a little bit later, but I feel like this one had some genuine style to it, as
Mhm.
opposed to the other ones. But yeah, he basically goes to Doctor Strange and he's like, "Hey, can you make people forget that I'm Spider-Man?" And because he's Peter, he fucks it up somehow, and he the multiverses clash.
I do like the fact that they brought in the VFX team from the Doctor Strange movie because I thought the effects are awesome.
Yeah, like the way that like how abstract it was and like the mirror dimension, like all
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Going into all that stuff, they just really shown their, CG colors. That thing was awesome to look at.
Yeah,
No,
it
I was
looked
like,
good. It looked good.
"Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah."
Um,
But I do like that everyone, they didn't even question if Mysterio was telling the truth or anything. Like, as soon
they just
that whole intro
unabashedly believe
scene
him.
yeah, the whole intro scene was just everyone bashing on Spider-Man and finding out where he lives and stalking him and all that stuff, and I thought that
Yeah,
was all really good.
I
Like,
th- I thought it
he
was.
mhm?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, I like the fact that he went home and he had to tape down all of the windows with his web and stuff,
Yeah, with his web. Yeah, I
and
love
people
that
kept throwing
scene.
bricks.
Yeah, I love that scene where the camera is like just kind of following him throughout the apartment. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah,
Um, and I also really liked like how immediately like it spread. I think it does a good job of showcasing like how fast information can spread.
yeah,
Like it's on the TVs at Times Square, it's on everybody's phone, and just like they believe it because the Daily Bugle. I like how the Daily Bugle in this one is more like hate mongering than like usual.
I feel like they've always been.
I know,
But
but I feel like they do a better job of like pointing it out, like that
well,
it's controversial.
the angle they take with it is that Jay Jonah is a podcast streamer.
Yeah, yeah. I love that he's like in his basement at
Yeah,
first.
he starts off in his basement and then
Yeah,
he ramps up production with his whole
yeah,
show and stuff, and it's pretty funny.
yeah.
I also do like that they just kind of skip through the legality of things
Of course, yeah.
because as soon as the panic scene's over, like they go back home. People are throwing bricks at Peter's house and stuff, saying like
Mhm.
"Hysteria all the way" or whatever, and then like they go, "Oh shit, we need a good lawyer" because he's getting interrogated by the FBI and all, or
Yeah.
the damage control team,
Yeah.
and then they do a crossover with Daredevil from the TV show.
Yeah, the
Uh,
what's his name?
Matt Murdock, but
Matt Murdock,
I
yeah.
don't know
No,
the
I don't know the actor's name either because
yeah.
I was confused when people started cheering. Like, I kind of figured because he had, like, the red sunglasses on, I'm like, "This is a comic book character, I just didn't know who."
Oh, okay,
And
you didn't know it.
I leaned over to Paul, I'm like, "Is that Daredevil?" And you're like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah,
Um,
but the thing that was, like, crazy is that it's the TV version.
yeah, the Netflix one, right?
Yeah, the Netflix Daredevil, so
Yeah.
it kinda says that, like, "Oh, the TV universe is canon with the MCU."
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, shit." Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was I like, this movie had a lot of, like, cute moments. like the scene where they throw a brick through the window and he catches it despite being a blind guy,
Yeah.
like with lightning fast reactions. It was just a cute moment where Spider-Man's like, "How did you catch that?" like,
Well,
um,
I like the joke that he says. He's like, "I'm gonna be straight with you, Peter. This doesn't look good. It looks like you murdered that guy, and you're gonna need a really good lawyer."
yeah,
And then he catches the brick, and he goes, "I'm that really good lawyer."
yeah.
Like, oh,
I'm a really good lawyer.
okay. So
um,
pretty. I like that. I like that. They did a
yeah,
good job.
yeah, they
But that's the
did.
only scene he gets. So who knows if like TV universe will merge more later.
I mean, who knows, right? Because now even Marvel's starting to do their own TV shows, so he
Well,
might show up.
actually, you bring a good point because the Doctor Strange 2 movie is going to come up, and that involves Wanda straight out of her
Yeah,
TV
out of,
show.
WandaVision, yeah.
Yeah, straight out of WandaVision. So maybe
Yeah,
they are going to start merging stuff.
yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll see the return of Punisher. Woohoo!
Ooh, maybe.
Nah, that's a cool
But,
character.
yeah, like, just kinda, like, skipping forward a little bit, this movie does a good job too of, like, better than the other movies, I would say, of, like, showing the consequences of knowing Peter Parker as
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
they did
like, being his friends and loved ones. I
yeah.
think it does a good job of showing their perspective because,
Well,
like,
that's the reason why that's the reason why Peter wants to revert everything.
yeah,
It's not just because people know he's Spider-Man, it's because, like, everybody's lives are getting ruined because they know
yeah.
he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, because like, they try to sign up for MIT, I think, and they all get
Yeah,
declined
they all
because,
get
like,
fine.
he's Spider-Man, and,
Yep.
he goes to Doctor Strange. I thought it was really that scene was really cute where Doctor Strange was like, "You know you can just call them, right?" And, like, try to petition the decline, and he's like, "Wait, you can?" It's like, "You're coming to me to perform a magic spell before you even thought of calling them."
No, that just
Um
kinda shows how, like, much of a kid he is, I guess.
Yeah, like, how, like,
He
he's
didn't even
not
think
street
about it.
smart at all.
Yeah, he didn't even think about it. I do like
Yeah.
they did a nod, I don't know if you caught this,
Mhm.
um, but what Flash was pretending to be, Peter's best friend,
Uh-huh.
and he was selling books, and the
Yeah.
book that he sold was Flashpoint,
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I was like, "Hey, wait a minute, like, that's a funny
That's
reference,"
a
but
cute little nod, yeah.
it's just, because Flashpoint, for those of you that don't know, is the DC event where the Flash goes back in time and it rewrites all of, the histories, so all the
Yeah.
timelines. So essentially what's gonna happen here, but,
Yeah.
multiverse theory instead.
Mhm.
But I just like that they did a little nod to DC. I was like, "Oh, okay, like, that's weird." And
I thought that was pretty cool, yeah. But, yeah, basically, like, people are trying to profit off of him, people are, like, doing stuff, like his life is just basically ruined forever.
yeah.
So he goes to Doctor Strange and,
Mhm,
the spell gets fucked up.
mhm.
And all of the different, movie
I like the
universes.
I like the opening to Doctor Strange's place. He's, like, drinking whiskey, he's drunk off his ass.
Yeah, he's like it's
Shitty
like
poopy pants.
snowing.
Yeah. He's
He's
he's, like, disheveled and
Yeah,
shriveled
and
up.
he's upset because he's not the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. He has caca in his pants and pee on his front.
Wait a second,
But,
hold on. Is this
"What the fuck do you want, Peter?"
Did we watch different movies?
No, it was good. That was the scene. You don't
"Hey,
remember?
Peter, what you fucking ants fine as fuck, bro."
"Hey, fuck you. I gotta go to do a magic party. What do you want?" "I'm not
Yeah.
just here to change the universe, sir." Shut the fuck up."
"I'll do it for pictures of your aunt's cooter." Oh, Jesus.
"You got it,
Um
mister."
yeah, like, so he does a spell and it gets all fucked up, and, like, this is when, like, people started cheering in the audience when Doctor Octopus first showed up,
Yeah,
which I was like, "Damn, he looks good." Like,
he looks good. I'm not a fan of people being super rowdy in a theater because 'cause I'm just trying to watch the movie, but this movie, I was like, "Okay, okay." Like,
like, when it comes
they actually
to
knew. Did you notice? They actually knew in this movie. They held a couple seconds of airtime for just to let people clap
Oh, dude,
during
that's
things.
you'll notice that in, like, Endgame, Infinity War, they
Oh,
do that a
really?
lot. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even
they
notice.
do that a lot.
I noticed it in
Um,
this one, but I didn't notice the other ones.
yeah, I normally don't mind it that much. I think it's, like, fine when people clap at stuff. It's like, if I'm going to a movie, like, I saw Endgame opening night, like, the night it came out. I think I saw it with you, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and just people were going ballistic in that theater, and I was just like, "Whatever, dude, like, I know why I'm here."
Yeah.
I saw it opening weekend, the Spider-Man movie with you. I expected there to be
I knew
clapping.
there'd be cheering, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with cheering, but I'm just saying, like, I there are some times where I'm like, "Okay, calm down," because 'cause I'm trying to hear.
Dude, I've seen some screenings of Spider-Man that are just ridiculously I'm like, "Okay, this is crazy. You're like a
I saw
fucking
that.
ape."
Yeah, I'd be fucking
Yeah.
pissed if I was at
Yeah.
that kind of theater where people
I'm
are
like,
fucking throwing shit at the walls and stuff, you know?
"Yeah, you're going nuts." But, yeah.
This was fine. Our theater was fine. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, our theater was pretty good, except there was one fucking guy who every time he got out of his chair, he turned on the flashlight of his
oh,
phone. I
yeah."
wanted to shove that shit up his ass.
I was just like, "Dude, come on, man."
Yeah. Then I
But
remembered I was in Orange County, and I was like, "Oh, maybe not."
but
Um,
it was fine. People clapped and they gave a couple seconds for the claps, like, I noticed it this time. I didn't notice it in
yeah.
the other ones.
Okay,
The
let me ask you this question before we proceed.
what?
I kept note of this. What character do you think got the most applause?
Green Goblin.
Yes,
Oh,
okay, good. I'm glad you noticed it, yeah.
yeah, Green Goblin. Everybody fucking loved him. Dude,
They
I
went
loved him. He did
crazy over
so
Green
good.
Goblin.
He
Yeah,
did so good.
we'll talk about it, but Green Goblin stole the fucking show. Like,
Oh, yeah, dude. He fucking stole that shit. And
he
I'll
was
one of my favorite scenes, I'll
incredible.
tell you about it too. I'll tell you. We'll
Yeah.
talk. But
So,
go
yeah,
ahead.
basically Green Goblin appears and Peter's confused. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and Doctor Strange gives this whole exposition dump. And I think that this is where the movie really slows down for me. Like, upon thinking about it, once Doc Ock
Mhm.
and Green Goblin appear and they're looking for the other villains, I'm like, you guys are meandering a lot. It's like really slow in the second act.
Mm. I don't
Like,
think I noticed it.
I think the first time you watch it, you're carried through by the excitement of it.
Possibly.
But then upon rewatching and like thinking about it, I'm like, damn, they were in that cellar for a long time.
Did you watch it again?
No, just like upon thinking about it again.
Oh, yeah? Then how do you know? Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Like
I have to watch it again, but
there was a lot of scenes where they're just kind of sitting around talking in that basement,
that is true.
the magic
Well,
prison.
a lot of it was, like, interactions with the old villains and stuff
Yeah,
like
but I'm like, okay, we don't need this. Like Jamie Foxx is not a very good actor. Like it's just
that.
like this is kind of boring.
He was
um,
totally outshined. I kinda feel bad. They try to give him his
yeah.
they try to give Jamie Foxx a little more screen time by saying like, "Oh, you know, he's Electro, he looks new, he doesn't look like a dork anymore." And then
Yeah,
he even
he
questions it.
looked really good in this movie,
Yeah.
and I just feel like he he kind of phoned it in. Some like him, Sandman, and the Lizard, in my opinion, were just like, why are they in this movie? Like they just like didn't fit,
I think Sandman fit a
especially
little more.
Sand. It's funny because
Really?
I think Sandman didn't fit at all.
I thought he fit a little more than the other ones.
He
I
had
it
mhm,
I mean, unless you're talking about in terms of, like, the fight scenes, like, he didn't do anything really. He was just like a
yeah,
sandman the whole time.
yeah.
But he at least had a couple lines of dialogue, and he was the one where he was like, "Oh, I wanna help you," and then eventually he goes, "Okay, I'm bad guy," you know?
Like, that part was, like, fine, and I understand that they ran into issues because of COVID.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know this, maybe upon rewatching it, like, pay attention, but someone noted that when he gets, like, fixed and the
Mhm.
sand powers are going away, it's just rewound footage from Spider-Man 3.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that they keyed it's and same thing with the Lizard. It's just footage from Amazing Spider-Man.
Huh. I didn't
Yeah,
notice. So they didn't
yeah.
actually get the characters?
No, they couldn't because I think they're both English actors and they live in the
Yeah.
UK, and just because of travel restrictions, they couldn't come.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that.
which goes to show that not even Marvel can can bend the rules on COVID right now.
That's interesting, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but, like,
The
the
the adventure starts with Peter going out and they already have the lizard and they have Doc Ock because of the fight.
yeah,
Um, and then and Doc Ock he's, like, trapped in there because he has a piece of, like, nanotechnology from Peter's suit
from
or
Peter's
whatever.
suit, yeah,
Yeah, it's attached to it. So he's like
And so
holding
it
him in
can be
place.
controlled by like Iron Man or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Jarvis or whatever.
So he's holding him in place. So they already
Yeah.
got 2 out of the 6, and he's going off to get other guys. And then the whole new suit is literally just an inside out suit.
I thought that was so funny how like there was so much discussion and hype about what that suit was, and it's just
Yeah.
because he gets like what like green paint all
Yeah,
over it,
someone throws green paint at his suit and he can't
so
get it
he has
off.
to invert. He just turns it inside out. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, he just turns the suit inside out and wears it.
Yeah,
So it's black and gold because of the
the
circuits.
circuitry and stuff like that, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Um,
Like, alright.
yeah, and
But they
then
only use it one time and then he doesn't wear it again.
yeah, then he just gets washed.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there was that scene like, and then the Green Goblin appears. Like he's like trying to like fix himself. Like he doesn't want to be Green Goblin anymore, so he
Yeah.
smashes the mask and he gets rid of the glider.
Yeah, and they do a cool walk-off scene that looks like the Spider-Man in the trash can scene.
Yes, yes, I love that. I love that little callback to that scene. And
Yeah.
so let's just take this time now to simp for Willem Dafoe
I like Willem
as Green
Dafoe's
Goblin.
character because he's
Yes.
literally just a schizo hobo. It's pretty
See,
great.
that's the thing. That's the thing. When you watch the original Spider-Man, he seems more like Jekyll and Hyde
Yeah.
than he does like, but in this movie, he like his performance is so nuanced that he seems like a guy with mental health problems.
Yeah, he's just a schizo hobo.
Yeah,
Love
which
it.
like I think caused more attention to first of all our understanding of mental health issues 20 years later, and
Mm.
just how fucking great of an actor Willem Dafoe is.
Yeah, yeah.
And dude, he just completely steals the show. It's like not even funny how fucking good he is. That
Yeah,
motherfucker
he's
put in
solid.
work,
Solid takes in
and
those scenes.
he is somehow just like the most threatening villain, like even more than Thanos to me. Like his presence on screen, I was just like, damn, this guy's scary. um
But
yeah, so he encounters him in Aunt May's like soup kitchen where she
yeah,
volunteers. I forgot what it was called, but it was in the Spider-Man video game too.
East.
Feast, yeah. Which I liked a little more. I like this characterization of Aunt May a little more in this movie rather than just like some hot chick like in the last two.
Mhm.
um
She's more of like, "You gotta care. Stop
yeah,
being an asshole."
she's a little bit better of a character here. And yeah, and like that's what kind of sets the tone, whereas like Spider-Man's not killing these villains in this movie because he doesn't do that. He wants to help them and cure them.
Yeah,
Because
we should probably have mentioned it. So
yeah.
Doctor Strange wants to, cage up all of the villains, and after he cages them up, he wants to send them back home, but sending them back home will kill them because
It
in their
dooms them to their
timeline.
fate.
Yeah, it dooms them to die.
Yeah.
So then Spider-Man goes, "No, don't do that, you meanie!" And then
Yeah.
they fight in the mirror universe, and he traps them using math, which I
That
actually
was really that was really cool because like it showcases that. I mean, I'm not a super big expert on Spider-Man comics like you are, so correct me if I'm wrong.
uh-huh.
But in a lot of fights, Spider-Man usually just kind of outsmarts his enemy, doesn't he? Like
Yeah.
he's not physically stronger than a lot of his opponents, but he's way smarter than
Well,
them.
he is, but he pulls his punches a lot, and that's another thing that would
Oh
consider.
yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. But I'm saying like he's quick on his feet, like he's
Yeah.
quick witted,
Yeah,
and yeah.
he's very thonk. He's 200 IQ.
um, but yeah, so Peter beats him in the mirror dimension, which is pretty cool. Or I don't know what it's called. I'm just gonna call it the
Yeah,
mirror
it's
dimension.
a mirror dimension, I think.
Okay, so he
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 beats
beats
him,
him
and then
in
he
there,
comes back,
and
and
then he
he
comes
tells
back.
yeah, and he
Yeah,
says, "I'm not gonna let you guys die, so I'm gonna heal you guys instead. We're gonna cure you."
yeah. So because
And that's
like
when he goes to capture everybody.
in the movie's world, like how they're explaining it is like the minute, like the moments before their death is when they're pulled into Tom Holland's universe.
Yeah.
So maybe not like the literal second because Green Goblin's dead either way because the glider,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like, maybe moments before.
It's moments right before.
Yeah.
I think Green Goblin said he was fighting Spider-Man, he was winning, and then he got pulled back,
Yeah. I think it
and
was,
then that was in the graveyard.
what
Yeah.
does Electra say? Like I was beating his ass.
Yeah, I was beating his ass, and then I got trapped back, and then
Yeah.
Otto Octavius was when he
With his
held
machine.
him. Yeah, he was at the machine, and he got
Yeah.
trans back. Like it was all right before the ending of each film, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Um,
Which actually doesn't make that much sense to me too, because like there. I'm not advocating that they should have re-aged him, but it does you see Willem Dafoe and he's, like, old, right? And I'm like,
Yeah,
isn't it supposed to be right before you fight or you right before you die or whatever? So it's like
it
you look
doesn't
old.
like, that kinda stuff doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I know they did de-aging on Alfred Molina.
Really?
You can kinda see it, yeah. Look if
They
you look
didn't
at the
do
bridge scene if you look at the bridge scene again, I'm like, "Yeah, no, they digitally de-aged him."
they didn't do
And
enough.
yeah. Um,
But yeah,
but
so that was one thing where I'm like, okay, like I know that it's fucking like what 20 years later that these
yeah,
guys had made their films, so it's like, okay, I'm not gonna bash on them for looking old,
for
but
being old.
it's just like it's just kind of funny that I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is right before they die.
Yeah.
But
Um, so basically, um, they all agree like, "Hey, okay, we'll let you cure us because we don't wanna die."
yeah,
But secretly, Electro's like, "I'm really powerful in this dimension. Like, why the fuck would I ever wanna
yeah,
go back?" You know? Um, so there's this kind of weird element of, like, one of them is gonna betray him at some point because 'cause they're villains, right?
hmm
And so they go to, Happy's apartment because they have to hide there because 'cause they're refugees or whatever.
yeah,
Um, and I think this is probably the best scene in the entire movie for me, or one of the best scenes, is when his spider sense starts to go berserk. Like when he's helping cure the villains and he cures Dr. Octopus and
cured
he's like
Doc Ock,
fine.
yeah, and he was in the middle of curing Electro.
Yeah, Electro. And then his spider sense goes crazy and it's like this long take shot and it's just in his spider sense.
I do like
And
that scene. That's
like
cool.
this, like it was like shaking. There was like bass and like he's trying to figure out who it is, who he's getting these bad vibes from.
Yeah,
And before I think Green Goblin like tries to stab him or throw something at him, he
yeah,
webs him up, and that's when Green Goblin like fully converts to like evil. He's
yeah.
no longer Norman Osborn.
It's just
But
Green Goblin.
I thought that sequence was
Spider-Man.
fucking awesome. I thought that sequence was so good.
It was a
That's
really good take. It's very, suspenseful. It's like,
Yeah,
what's going
that's a
on?
neat little trick you have.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
"Oh,
pretty sick.
shit."
Pretty
Yeah,
solid.
yeah.
Dude, that fight was fucking awesome.
Whew, man,
That
I
fight was great inside the apartment building. So
Yes.
everybody's escaping and stuff,
Yeah.
and the one that stays behind is Green Goblin, and he starts fighting Peter.
Willem
That shit was
Willem
nuts.
Willem Dafoe did his own, stunt acting. Not his own, like,
I heard.
stunts, but his own, like, fight choreography. Yeah,
I heard.
yeah, which is
But
fucking crazy for a dude who's, like, 60.
yeah. I thought the punches were really good. They're very
Yes.
impactful and stuff like that.
It
And but
felt
my favorite was when, Spider-Man was punching him in the face, and it was a close up of Willem Dafoe getting punched in
Mhm,
the face, and
mhm.
Willem just starts laughing.
Just starts laughing as he starts, like,
Oh,
tanking the punches.
yeah, he's just tanking the punches. I'm like, "Dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome." That
Take
was very,
notes
spine tingling.
take notes, Batman v Superman, that's how you do a scene like that.
Yeah. That was fucking really
It
cool.
was so, like, brutal, like, there was no finesse really to the
Dude,
fights.
you're right, now that I think about it, yeah, you're
They're
right.
just fucking throwing themselves at each other, and
They're
Peter's just getting his
milking it.
ass beat.
Oh, yeah, he gets a fucking Batista bombed through, like,
Yes, like,
6
through 2
stories.
stories,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was awesome.
And it's like, he gets fucked up, and this movie does a great job of showcasing how much of a threat, the Green Goblin is, like, how much of an evil bastard he is, which I loved every second of.
Mhm.
So after he's done beating his ass, he just straight up kills Aunt May.
Yeah! So, Aunt May comes down, and she's like, "Peter!" Because Peter is, like, getting fucked up, and then
Yeah,
and she was gonna hit him in the back of the head with, like, a pipe or something.
yeah, it was like I think it was like a meat thing, like to tenderize meat. It was like
Oh,
those little
yeah, yeah, like a
hammers,
meat
yeah.
tenderizer or something, but she starts running to him, and then Green Goblin just fucking gets his glider
Right.
and, like, runs her over.
I
Runs
thought
her
I thought it was silly how it hit her and didn't
Yeah,
stab her.
yeah,
I'm like, "Doesn't
yeah.
that thing have blades?"
I thought she was dead, like, the instant it hit her, to be fair. I was like, "Oh, shit, like, she's dead."
Yeah, and
But
then
they gave
and then
us
for even more to even be more of an evil bastard, he just throws a fucking pumpkin bomb at her too.
Yeah, yeah, and he had to tank the hit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
He
yeah, and then yeah.
it's just like 2001 Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Leave
exactly.
from
Yeah.
evil. Remember that? It is
Finish
right.
it.
Finish.
Finish the prayer. Finish it.
I love that
Um,
scene.
that scene is so funny.
Pretty sure
But
that's a callback. I think it's a callback.
maybe I don't know because he just flies off, and I mean, it could be.
Finish it. Well, it's because he bombed the apartment building that she was in or whatever. So
Yeah.
I feel it's a callback. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah,
But they were
he throws a pumpkin bomb to settle the deal. Spider-Man tanks it, and then he's like, they both get up, and it's like, oh, okay, Aunt May's fine. Like, all right, I thought she fucking died because
yeah.
the glider hit her at like 300 miles an hour. But she just gets up and she goes, "I'm all right," and I'm like, "All right," like that kind of fucking sucks. So
Yeah.
my expectations did kind of get wonked a little bit there, because I was like, "Oh, like
Uh-huh.
I thought this was gonna be the death scene,"
Yeah.
but they're like getting up and leaving, and but then eventually give it a couple minutes, and then Aunt May stumbles to the floor, and it's like,
Yeah, and then
"Oh,
she
okay."
collapses, yeah.
Yeah, she collapses, and it's like, "Oh, okay, it is the death scene."
Yeah.
And I think that was really well done, actually.
So,
IMO. I was
yeah,
tearing up.
like, I thought that it was pretty well done, overall, but this is, like I guess this is the best time for me to mention this, but this movie has, like, really weird pacing. Like,
Mm.
certain scenes extend for too long. Like, when Happy pulls into the driveway and he's just staring inside, I swear it lingers on for, like, 4 seconds. I'm like, "Okay, I get it, cut now." He's just staring in this hospital or this apartment, like
You're supposed to feel the intensity of the sadness.
no, because the intense part is Peter Parker trying to call for help and these police people are trying to arrest
Yeah.
him while his aunt is dying. I don't give a fuck about what Happy thinks about the situation.
Well, isn't it because, like, Happy they broke up and Happy loves her or whatever, so it's
Sure,
like
but, like, show him pulling up and then cut is what I'm saying. Like, I think they lingered on him way too long, and there's a lot of scenes in this movie where they just linger. I'm
mhm.
like, "Okay, cut now." Like, you can cut. Like,
Yeah,
you can cut down this movie by, like, 15 minutes, and it's, like, solid, like, pacing-wise.
mhm.
They just linger on shit for too long, and I don't wanna get
Yeah.
into, like, editing theory and all that bullshit, but, like, I really noticed it in this
Well,
movie how kinda sluggish it was at times.
okay, okay,
Um,
that's a fair point.
and
I think
Aunt May's
mhm.
death scene was really impactful. I thought it was really well acted by Tom Holland. Um, and like the scene where they shoot him instead of like helping him and he gets shot
Yeah,
in the shoulder. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck, dude, you're having a rough day.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he's forced to leave his aunt or else he gets arrested or killed
yeah.
by
He
these
was
police
legit crying
officers.
for help, and they just shoot him. Pretty
Yeah.
pretty crazy. He
Yeah. Which
just had to leave.
I thought that was a really good sequence because it's just like in like an hour, Green Goblin ruined his entire life.
Yeah,
Like,
solid.
um, yeah, I thought that was super, super great. Um, so then he disappears, and they cut to Ned and MJ in his grandma's house or his Lola's house, and he's fucking around with the ring. Oh, we didn't mention this, but they steal Doctor Strange's ring, the one that can make portals, and they
Yeah,
give it to Ned to hold on to. They
and the
don't
whole
expect anything on from him.
yeah, and the whole joke is that Ned has magic and that runs in the family because like
Yeah, like
voodoo magic or whatever.
they always talk about this, and then he talks to Doctor Strange. He's like, "Yeah, I get this weird tingle in my hands," and Doctor Strange says, "Like, you should see a physician," something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Um,
pretty
so it's
solid.
like kind of joke that kind of tease that Ned has magic. He's capable of it. So he opens a portal because he says, "I wish I could just see Peter." And a
Mhm.
portal opens up, and it's a long, dark hallway with a figure in the back. And immediately, my head was, "That's Andrew. Like that's Andrew Garfield," because he turns around and you see two big eyes
Yeah, you'd see the big white eyes. It's
with the
like,
big
"Oh."
white eyes, which is Andrew's suit.
Dude,
Um,
I was e ecstatic when I
it
saw that. I
was
was
it
like,
was
"Oh."
funny. The whole crowd was silent when it was the figure, and then when it turned around, you would hear people go, "Oh my god! Oh, oh!"
Yeah,
Like here and there. And then he runs towards and he jumps through the portal, and the crowd, they
it
cheered and
was
they
funny.
clapped.
I thought it was funny how people clapped during this. Like, he came through the portal, and it was Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. People clapped. They go, "Oh, shit, it's Spider-Man," like,
Yeah,
"It's true, he's here."
yeah, yeah.
And then he
And
takes
then
off the mask, and then people clapped even more. It's like,
yeah,
"Oh."
that's what I thought was really funny. They're like, "Oh my god, it's Spider-Man."
Yeah, I'm like, "Dude, come on." Like, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It had to take a second reveal for them to be like, "That really is
Like, "Wait a
him."
second, that is him." Yeah.
Like, come on.
But they don't trust him initially, which makes sense because MJ is, like,
Yeah.
a smart character.
I actually think that that scene was a little long for me because I was like
See? Yeah.
that scene was a little long for me,
Mhm.
because I was just like, "Yeah, I get it, like, MJ doesn't trust him," but it's like,
Yeah.
how do you not trust him? Like, it's literally Spider-Man. He
Again, it just lingers.
Yeah, it lingers a little bit. Like, the first thing he does is like, "Okay, you want me to prove I'm Spider-Man?" He jumps and he grabs the ceiling, and
Yeah.
he's like, I'm Spider-Man." And they
Yeah.
go, "No, I don't believe you." It's like,
Which I
What
thought
are you
was really
talking?"
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, he's hanging
Yeah.
from the ceiling, and then they want him to walk on the ceiling and all that shit. And
Yeah.
then I do like this scene where the, uh, Ned's mom asks him in, like, Tagalog or something to
Yeah, to
clean
clear the cobweb.
clear the cupboard, and
Yeah.
he, like, slowly walks over there and cleans it slowly. I do like
Yeah.
that. That was funny.
Yeah, see, but, like, there's a couple like, it's hard to explain what I'm talking about, but, like, there's a couple sequences in this scene where the camera cuts back and forth a lot between, like, MJ reacting and Andrew reacting and Ned reacting to what the Lola is saying, when you could just show Ned instead of Andrew and MJ and shorten the scene by, like, 6 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
But, yeah, and then he tries it again, the portal scene, and then it's Tobey Maguire, and people I think this one got, like, the second biggest cheer, was
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire walking through the portal in, like, his fucking dad jeans.
Yeah, he was straight up just a dad.
Yeah,
Just had dad clothes on,
I
nothing.
I love the youth pastor line that Andrew Garfield says, like, "You showing up
Oh,
dressed as a youth pastor, or"
yeah, and they're going to battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
But yeah, I like when they kind of like they both sense each other with the spider sense, and they shoot web at each other,
Mhm.
and the grandma gets mad. This to me, when I was like, I really love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man because Tobey Maguire says, "I'm sorry, ma'am," and Andrew Garfield says, "I'm so sorry, Lola." Like he knows, he knows that term, and I thought that was really like cute.
Yeah.
And I guess now since we've gotten to that point, we can talk about it. Like I feel like this movie does a fantastic job at redeeming Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so too.
I think that he's the best represented Spider-Man in this movie. Um, aside
They
from Tom Holland,
really
of course, because it's his, but
Yeah, but they really tried to, like, bring up Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I think it's because everyone knew, like, he had the worst movies of the
I
bunch, but,
mean,
like,
yeah, like it's
it's
unfortunate.
it's
Like,
unfortunate, but it doesn't make him a bad Spider-Man.
no, he's a great Spider. It's like Henry Cavill as Superman. Like he's
Yeah.
great, but he's just in dog shit movies.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Um,
much the same circumstance,
yeah,
and
and they
there's
give
a
him
couple
like
lines
the
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, they give him, like, some great, like, characterization, and if you watch this movie again, if you look in the background when Andrew's in it, he's just, like, moving around and, like, fidgeting. He really captures, like, the body language of Peter Parker pretty well, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, because I rewatched some scenes from the first 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies just to, like, freshen up how he performed in those movies, and I'm like, "Yikes, you were not given anything good to work with here, huh?" And in this movie, I feel like he does a better job of being Peter Parker and Spider-Man
Yeah.
than in the
Oh,
other ones.
well, we'll, let's see. So, yeah, they get all the Spider-Man, and now they're looking for Peter, and Peter's on the roof of, like, it's oh, that see, I okay, this is one thing that I really liked from this movie, was
Mhm.
the interactions between all the Spider-Men.
Oh, they were so good.
They all did really well, and
Yeah.
they were all it was all good dialogue where I'm like, "Okay, yeah, like, yeah, that makes sense because they all play the same character, like, they're making jokes, cracking jokes about each other's universes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and they talk about each other's universes, so, like, when they're looking for Peter, they go, "Oh, where would he go? Somewhere where he would, like, clear his head," and then they all talk
Yeah.
about, like, what spot they would go to and stuff.
Where they went, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all, like, scenes from the movies. It's like Tobey Maguire would go to the Chrysler Building if he was, like, sad and stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
Andrew would go to the Empire State
The Empire
Building,
State Building, yep.
yeah, and stuff like that, and then
I
so
thought
they
that was
find
so
out
good.
yeah, so they go to the, rooftop of, like, I think the school or something,
Mhm, mhm.
and that's where Peter is, and then they give him a nice talk. Oh, speaking of, they when, Aunt May died, she finally gave the "With great power comes
Power
great
comes great response.
responsibility" line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which kind of confirms like, oh, Uncle Ben just doesn't exist in this
yeah,
universe, which makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, so Uncle Ben didn't give him that line. It's
Yeah.
Aunt May that gives him the line in this universe. So I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay," like, "That's pretty cool," you know? And I think what, Noah says is right, where Uncle Ben just probably wasn't there very much in this universe.
Well, I just don't think he ever existed.
Or really?
Yeah.
Might have been there, but I think he did die, but maybe he just didn't give him that line and stuff. Maybe
Well,
I
they never bring him up. I don't
don't know.
like in any of the movies, I don't think he's ever mentioned.
Or maybe that. Maybe he was just never there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they go to the rooftop, and then they're both Spider-Men are trying to relate to him and say, like, "Oh, I lost my uncle
Yeah.
via this, and he told me with great power," and all, and they both give their own thing, and then this is the line where I was like, "Whoa, like, that's pretty wild," and it
Yeah.
kinda shows, like, how strong Spider-Man can be.
Mhm.
But Andrew's Spider-Man, he goes, uh, well, after I lost Gwen
Gwen.
and all that, like I tried going back to normal and it was going okay, but it ate at me, and then I stopped pulling my punches.
Which a lot of people in the audience just went like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I went like that. I was too. I was like, oh shit, like
Yeah,
he just started fucking murdering people. Like, oh, it's crazy.
because it's like it's always like implied like in the comic books or in the movies like that Peter Parker is really fucking strong. Like
Yeah, but he
he
always
just kind
pulls his
of pulls
punches.
his punches and he just kind of it's for fun, you
Yeah,
know?
he doesn't
Um
try to kill people.
no. But like when he's angry or whatever, like that's when you know that he's gonna fucking destroy you.
Yeah,
I really like that scene because out of all of them, Andrew Garfield has lost the most. Like he lost his Uncle Ben and he lost Gwen, which the other ones didn't. They didn't lose like their significant other.
yeah.
Um, which it makes sense to make him the more disheveled one as opposed to Tobey Maguire, even though he's older.
No, actually, Toby had a good life at the end.
Yeah, I actually really like that.
Yeah, he had a good
That
life. He
yeah,
literally just says like, "Oh, him and MJ managed to work it
they
out."
figured it out. I was like, good for you.
Yeah, like he had a good life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
that's very
that.
good. But Andrew
Um,
was the one who just went down the spiral.
yeah. And like even him, like he was learning to grow, like in this movie, like he was like learning things and like feeling confident about himself.
Yeah,
I thought
he's
that was
trying to.
funny.
He's trying
Yeah.
to. The other
Yeah.
Spider-Man was trying to perk him up. This is pretty
Yeah. But basically like they were gonna help Toby or not Toby, Tom Holland to get all of their villains back to their dimensions, back to their universes, and like they're gonna team up. Um, and
start making cures in like the high school lab.
I thought that was really cool. Like another scene that showcases like Peter's genius
Yeah.
because the Sam Raimi movies didn't do it at all.
No, they didn't.
And then Andrew Garfield's the first one did when he's making his web shooter,
Mhm.
but it's a super brief scene. It's like 45 seconds long where he's
Yeah.
when he's making his web shooters. I'm like, I would watch a whole movie of him doing this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then this one, they're all making all their cures and for everyone, and like each Spider-Man knows how to deal with each of their villains, which I thought was really neat. Where
Mhm,
Andrew Garfield's like, yeah, I cured him. I know how to do it. I know how to beat Electro. I know how to, and
mhm.
Um, so I thought that scene was really neat. It wasn't long. It was like the right amount. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And there was that cute scene between Ned and Toby where
Oh.
where Ned was like, "Hey, do you have a best friend?" And Tobey Maguire's like, "I did. He died in my arms after he tried to kill me." It was really sad, and it kind of freaks out Ned a little bit.
Yeah, and he just tells, Tom Holland, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm never gonna try to kill you, I promise."
Yeah.
He goes, "Okay, thanks."
That was so fun. I was like, "That's like it's character moments like that that I really enjoy, and it's not like annoying to me, like annoying
Yeah,
nostalgia callbacks or whatever."
yeah, and then
Um,
they discuss the webbing coming
yes,
from Toby's hands or
yeah.
his wrists.
So I knew that that scene was inevitable, just knowing how Marvel does their things, like their callbacks, and how there's, one Spider-Man that's like fucking weird. He shoots it out of his wrist.
Yeah.
And I really like how they did it. So they're gearing up for the final battle, and they're both like reloading. Andrew and Tom Holland are reloading like their web cartridges,
Yeah.
and Toby's like, "What is that for?" And they go, "Oh,
Mhm.
it's web fluid, so we can shoot web." And he just shoots his web out of his wrist.
Yeah, and they go,
And
"What the hell?"
I think MJ was like, "That just came out of you,"
Yeah.
and
And
that's it.
this scene was really good because it really f for me, it kind of felt like the big brother telling his younger brothers about, like, their dicks, you know?
Yeah,
'Cause they're like, "How does that work?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I don't know, it's in me and I just shoot it out." And then they're,
yeah.
like, asking him questions like, "Dude, does it build up? Does it just come out?" He's like, "I don't know, like, it just happens." Yeah.
Yeah, like he never thought of it. Like, has it come out from anywhere else? He's like, no, it's never come out from anywhere else.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
No PP shooting. So,
Yeah,
and then yeah, so then going forward, they're at the, Empire no, sorry, the Statue
Statue
of
of Liberty.
Liberty that's getting altered to be like the cap with a Captain America
Which
shield.
I thought was dumb, but
But
whatever.
that no, that's a good point that you thought it was dumb because, like, they talked about it on the news saying, like, a lot of people were protesting for the
Yeah,
Captain America shield on the
yeah,
Statue of Liberty.
yep.
'Cause
Which I was like,
it is dumb. It's really
I'm
dumb.
like, I'd be right in that crowd.
Yeah, that is a dumb thing, but that's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
And then
and
they have more scenes of the awkward Spider-Man talking and stuff,
I
and
love that. I love that scene a lot where they're all just talking about like the villains they fought and like
yeah, and
asking more questions about Toby's web.
yeah, and it just really shows that, like, Andrew Garfield hasn't done much compared to them, like, they're both like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
fought an alien before," and stuff like that, and then Andrew's like, "Well, the most I've done is fought a guy in a
I
rhino
wear a
suit."
suit, and then he's like, I'm pretty lame,"
Yeah,
and Toby's like, "Hey, you're not lame. I wanna hear you say it. You're amazing.
I
Say you're
love that they did
amazing."
that. I love that they did that since those
Yeah,
movies are Amazing Spider-Man, they're just like, "You're amazing, okay?
yeah,
You're amazing."
and I like, not to read too deep into it or whatever, but I always like that Toby delivered that line to Andrew
Mhm.
because I feel like Andrew Garfield got such an unnecessarily bad rap for his Spider-Man movies, like,
Yeah.
that dude was shit on so hard when he was cast as Spider-Man.
I still
Um
I still think he's a good Spider-Man, just the films didn't hold up
Oh,
for him.
yeah, that's the thing I agree with, like, I think that he was fantastic as Spider-Man. I actually really like his Peter Parker too.
I didn't like his
Um,
Peter Parker so much.
s
I liked
to
Spider
me, he's, like, confident and, like, has, like, a dorkiness to him still, and it's just because I'm a simp for Andrew
it's
Garfield, but whatever,
it's
let's move
it's a
on.
different Spider-Man universe
Yeah,
for sure. Funny enough, his universe is the only one that, like, the people like him.
I know.
Like, if you notice, like, at least in the second film, like, everyone they're hanging outside watching
Yeah,
Spider-Man fight, like, they love
yeah.
Spider-Man.
In the first one, though, they did not like him very much.
No, in both universes, they don't really like in the, Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire,
Tobey
they don't
Maguire,
really
yeah,
care for him.
but, yeah, I thought all those interactions between them were really cute, really, really well done.
I like the back reference. That's a good
Yeah, that
reference.
was
I'm back!
I was like, "They really referenced that?" Like, I thought it was so funny because so in Spider-Man 2, he's having, like, emotional problems, so he's losing his powers, like,
Yeah,
and that's kind of the theme throughout, and then in one scene, he kind of gets them back, so he tries to, like, fuck around, and he jumps off of a building, like a skyscraper, he's like, I'm back," but he can't shoot web, so he just, like, falls, like, horribly, and then he
yeah.
stands up, he goes, "Oh, my back, my back."
Yeah.
And then so in this movie, they're, like, stretching before the fight, and Tobey Maguire's stretching, like, up against the pole, and he's like, "Oh, my back. Oh, my back." And I was just like, "Come on." Like, I thought that was so
I
funny, and
love that
then
they did that, though,
yeah,
that's
and
so
then
funny.
Andrew helps him with his back problems.
Yeah, he gives him a crack. He makes him,
Yeah.
like, do the little X,
Yeah,
across his
on
chest
his and
and
he
picks
tells him
him
to
up.
breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, and he picks him up, cracks his back. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's much better.
Yeah, and that's I was just like, "Come on, dude."
It's so good, such a good reference.
Yeah, so then the villains show up because 'cause they're
You
trying
know
to
what?
get them
Before we continue, you know what reference would have been good if they each talked about each other's suits, and then and then, Toby would have said something like, "Oh, it's a good suit, but it rides up in the crotch,"
Yeah, something
even
like
they
that, yeah.
didn't do it, but it would've been I think it would've been funny if they did.
Yeah, and if they talked a little bit more about, like, their suit process or, like, how they swing even, like, what their like, their method, because they do briefly talk about their swinging method. Andrew and
Mhm.
Toby do, because
Hmm.
it was in their conversation about his back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they briefly mention it, but I would've, enjoyed a little bit more, but, yeah, the villains all show up for the final confrontation for them to be cured and sent back home, and, at first, they're super sloppy and uncoordinated, which I did kinda like.
Yeah.
Like, they
I've never
don't
been a
know who to prioritize, like, I think Toby shoots web at Andrew Garfield's face,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like, "What the hell?" Um, and, they have to regroup, and Tom Holland takes over as the leader, which I really liked, because he was
Mhm.
like, "I've been in a fucking team."
Yeah.
Like, I was in the
Really
Avengers.
yeah, and then they go, "Who's the Avengers?" Like a band?
Yeah, yeah. I really love Tobey Maguire's delivery. He's like, "That's fantastic. Who are the Avengers?" Yeah,
I think they talk about it later. As they're losing because they're not coordinated,
coordinated,
Toby
yeah.
Toby gets mad and he goes, "How is that helping?" or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot what they said. I think I had to do something with
It was
teamwork from the Avengers again.
no, I think it was Electro, because Toby had never encountered that. He's like, "How do I beat this guy?"
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a scene where he goes like, "How do I beat this guy?"
yeah. But Toby gets
Um,
really upset. It's pretty funny. "How
yeah.
how is that helping?"
Yeah, there you go, yeah. But, yeah,
But
so
yeah,
they all mhm.
they start teaming up, and they all call each other different Spider-Man numbers. Tom
Yeah.
Holland Spider-Man 1, then Toby Spider-Man 2, and then they they give Andrew Spider-Man 3, and
Yeah.
Andrew goes, "Okay, yeah, I guess I'm fucking Spider-Man 3," like another hit to his ego or whatever.
Another cheeky reference that he never got a 3rd movie.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
one. It's all these little things for Andrew Garfield. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
But
Um,
that scene, dude, that 6-second sequence where they're all, like, swinging together,
uh,
like, at night,
wallpaper, wallpaper.
I leaned to you, I'm like, "Oh, there's your wallpaper."
Yeah,
But,
they're just
dude,
swinging together finally like, sync.
in sync, like, Toby or I forget who, but I think it's Tom Holland, he shoots his web at both of the other Spider-Man, and he
Yeah,
pushes them forward.
yeah, it's
To
pretty cool.
to me, I was like when I watched that, I was like, "Well, this is the best thing that Marvel's ever made." Like, though that 5-second sequence, I'm like, "This is the best thing Marvel's ever made." I ate that shit up, and the crowd cheered pretty loud at that part too.
Yeah, that was
Um,
cool, and they did the whole superhero pose, they're all posing together.
yeah, they're all posing, and they all do a different pose, which I
Yep,
liked.
yep.
Yeah, they all have a unique kind of movement. Um, yeah, so then the villains, they return, and they start fighting, and I think Doctor Octopus shows up later on to help them because they're still kind of getting their asses kicked by Electro because
The
he's like
the
super powered.
very end. That's the very end after they pretty much cure everybody.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah. So he's just Alfred Molina.
Yeah, he's just there. "Hey,
Hey, what's up? It's me, Alfred.
I'm here." Uh, they're all fighting each other separately or fighting each of their villains separately, but they're, like, doing comms and stuff now,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in a game of Call of Duty.
He's like,
It's a
I'm coming.
lobby.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
"I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming."
um,
And they cure everybody using their, like, effective methods and stuff, and Doctor Strange shows up and he goes, "What the fuck? I'm
yeah.
ending this shit," and then Ned goes, "No, look, they're curing him," and he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, shit. Okay." And and he's
Oh,
not mad anymore. So it's like
what it was Ned accidentally opened the portal that Doctor Strange was in,
oh,
like, to
yeah,
the
yeah,
mirror
yep.
dimension,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's a funny little moment where Doctor Strange is like, "Did you just open the portal?" And he goes, "Yeah," and then that's it, like
Yeah, and he goes, "Huh, okay."
yeah, he goes like,
Walks up.
"Hmm."
Yeah.
But then,
So
like
maybe Ned's gonna be a sorcerer later. Who knows?
well, we don't know because of well, we'll
Could
get to
happen.
that, we'll get to that,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but, yeah, so they save the day or whatever, but then the Green Goblin comes back, and I'm while I am kind of sad that he wasn't in the final battle, I am pretty happy that they devoted an entire like section of just the Green Goblin.
Yeah, the big, big bad.
Yeah. So he kind of fucks everything up. He puts the like he outsmarts Doctor
Oh,
Strange.
oh, yeah, he outsmarts Doctor Strange by putting but
The
he grabs the, like, cage that the spell is held in. We didn't mention
yeah.
this, but they're holding in the spell that caused the multiverse to crack or whatever.
There's a device that they need to protect. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Green Goblin steals it. They steal it back, but right before they realize it, Green Goblin had put a bomb inside of the box, and it blows
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
the multiverse cracks. Um, and then as that happens, the skyscraper or the sky, what is it called? The scaffolding is that's around the Statue of Liberty breaks, and
Mhm.
MJ is there. What's her name in the movies? It's Michelle Jones.
It's yeah, something like that, yeah.
So she starts falling, and it's like, oh no, she's gonna die, just like
Yeah.
Gwen. And
Yeah.
then Tom Holland's Peter jumps for her and is like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna save her." But then Green Goblin hits him and goes, right? And it's like, "Oh shit, she's still falling," and it's in slow
Yeah.
mo. It's in slow mo, and he goes, she's falling down, and then Andrew sees her and he goes, boom, and he jumps for her,
Yeah, and he
and
catches her.
he's the one that catches her, and
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, he just redeemed himself. He
Yeah,
caught her."
because he spoiler alert, he failed to
It's
catch Gwen. That's how she dies in
yeah,
the movie.
yeah. Well, this is pretty interesting because, like, I actually read this somewhere where it's like he's been thinking of it for such a long time, right? Because the in Amazing Spider-Man 2, the way he tries to save her is he thwips.
He shoots the web, yeah.
Yeah, he shoots the web and he tries to catch her with with the hand coming out.
And oh god, that was so stupid. Oh
But
my
he tries to
god.
save her. He tries to
Yeah.
save her with the web, and he grabs her, but because of the whiplash from the web, it
It
cracks
yeah,
her neck.
she hits her head against the
Yeah, she
floor.
hits the head against the floor and it cracks her neck and she dies, right?
Mhm.
But in this, instance, he doesn't shoot web at all. He just focus
He
on
just yeah.
yeah, he focuses on the dive instead, and he dives
Yeah.
really fast, and that's how he saves her.
Which I
So
liked.
like, I read somewhere where it's like, damn it, like, Peter after the Gwen thing happened, he really sat there and thought about it a long
Yeah,
time
it ate up at him, yeah.
'cause they ate up at him, and
All the
this is
things he
how
could have done.
yeah, and this is, like, how he fixed it, right? He
Yeah.
focused on the jump instead. So he saves her, and I thought this was a really nice moment because it's like he saved her, and the crowd was cheering or whatever because Andrew Garfield did it. But MJ looks up and she's like, "Thank you," and whatever, and then Andrew's crying, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, I thought that was a very sweet scene. No,
that
he
was
he says, "Are you okay?" But his voice is like cracking and there's tears in his eyes.
yeah, yeah,
And MJ's like, "Yeah, are you okay?"
yeah," and he's crying, and then
Yeah.
I specifically remember this because the whole theater was like, "Oh," everyone said, "Oh."
Yeah, it was a pretty
It
sweet moment.
it was a very sweet moment because he was crying, so I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's really nice." I know I
yeah.
repeated myself like 3 times, but that was a really good scene for me.
It was, yeah. I thought it was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, and then, and then Peter's fighting Green Goblin on the, Statue of Liberty's Captain
On
America
the
shield.
Captain America shield, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a pretty cool fight. They're just duking it out again, and Peter's about to kill him. He picks up the glider with the knives sticking out of it, and
Yeah,
Peter's really
well,
pissed. Hmm?
hold on. Before you get to that part, I just wanna say, like, when he's getting angry and angrier throughout the fight,
Yeah.
Peter, because Green Goblin's just taunting him the whole time.
Alright.
Um, and like I think at some point Tom Holland says like, "Oh, you," because Green Goblin says, "You want to send me back to my dimension to die," and Tom Holland just says, "No, I want to kill you myself."
Yes, that's
And
right.
you're just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, he's pissed. He's pissed.
Yeah, and so like the fight starts off somewhat even, and then it just starts with Tom Holland just beating the fuck out of him, which
Mhm.
I was a little disappointed. I thought that Green Goblin should have been a lot bloodier.
Yeah.
He was like squeaky clean, after just getting just pummeled by a superpowered man.
Well, he was a filthy hobo, now he's just a clean hobo. cleaned him up.
Yeah, and then, uh yeah, he's about to stab him with the glider, but, in his anger, but then, Tobey Maguire intercepts it and catches the glider
Mhm.
and, overpowers him, like, because you could tell he's really he's just like, "I'm gonna go through Toby."
Yeah, he
To
was
kill
really trying, but Toby just
yeah.
held his own. They
Yeah.
they really held it, and, he got him to calm down, and
Yeah.
and then Green Goblin just stabs Toby
I
in the back.
dude, that was so fucking glorious to me. I'm like, "Yes, I love how much of an evil bastard the Green Goblin is." Even
Yeah,
after he saved his life, he's still like, "Fuck you, Spider-Man."
and he fucking stabbed him in the back. I was a
Yeah.
little scared there. I was like, "Oh shit, are they
They
gonna
got
kill
a
Toby?"
they got a big gasp out of the audience.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Whoa!" Like he fucking
Yeah.
stabbed Toby, and I thought it
Yeah.
was gonna. I didn't know where they were gonna go with that, to be honest. But
Yeah, yeah.
but
Um,
Spider-Man beats Green Goblin and cures him, and then Peter Parker. Sorry, Toby Maguire. It's kind of hard to say Peter
so
Parker.
confusing, yeah.
Yeah, so Toby Maguire gets up and he goes, "I'm okay. I've been stabbed before." Like, "Oh, all right, I got
Yeah.
you. He's fine."
There is one scene though where they're all like talking and stuff, and Andrew goes, "You're in a lot of pain," and, and Tony Guy goes, "Yeah."
Oh, oh, no, that was after the hug between the three.
Yeah, when they all
And
say
then
goodbye to each
yeah,
other.
they're about to get sent home, and then
Yeah,
yeah, they get in the hug, and then he says
yeah.
that line, "I'm in a lot of
Um,
pain."
I love to again just gushing about Green Goblin, but like when they cure him, he's not like apologetic. He's just grumpy that he's not evil anymore.
Yeah, he's just like, "Huh,
Yeah, he just
damn it."
sits down and like throws a fit. I fucking love, dude. I love Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. He's the best MCU villain.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking good.
um but yeah, so they all say their goodbyes and they just disappear.
Oh,
And then
let's say why they're disappearing, because there's a new rule coming in here. So
no,
Doctor
wait.
Strange, yeah, Doctor
Oh, okay,
Strange,
yeah, you're right, you're right.
Doctor Strange is like, because the multiverse is cracking and all the other Spider-Man villains are coming through, or they're trying to
And
come through.
yeah, you get a hint at some of them in silhouettes. Like I know Scorpion was there, Black
Yep,
Cat, and like Rhino.
yep. You can see them in there, or Craven. I saw Craven there.
Yep, Craven
Um,
was there.
but he's like, they're trying to come through. We gotta
Yeah.
close it. And then Peter goes, "All right, fuck it, make everyone forget about me." And then he goes, "You sure? Like you're not gonna exist anymore?"
Yeah.
Essentially, he goes, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?"
Like not even
And
Doctor Strange will know.
yeah, not even Doctor Strange will know who he is or anything. It's literally there. This is the part where I was just like, because it kind of broke it a little bit for me.
Mhm.
Didn't make sense to me, but I'll get to it why in a second.
Okay.
But he says everyone will forget about me and it'll just continue on without me or whatever.
Mhm.
And then they give their goodbye hug and all that stuff, and then he tells MJ, he's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna forget about me," and then she goes, "Oh, we'll find each other one day," and all
Like
this
you
stuff.
better find me.
Yeah, you better find me and all this crap. And then it happens, and everyone disappears and goes home and all that stuff. And uh, then it shows Peter moving into an apartment complex by himself without Aunt May and all that stuff. So Aunt
Yeah,
May's
because Aunt
still
May's
dead.
fucking dead.
Yeah, everyone. So it looks like it just took place right after the fight, right?
Yeah.
So, but everyone just forgot about him. And this is why it doesn't really make sense to me in a second. But so he's in the apartment complex, and I was really hoping for the landlord from Toby's to be in there.
Rent?
Yeah, rent, you got the rent, but he
No, no,
didn't.
no. He is good boy.
Yeah, he didn't show up. So maybe who knows? Maybe he can still come in. But
Yeah.
uh, Peter goes to a coffee shop that they were in earlier in the movie, where when they talked about their denials from MIT,
Yep.
and they go in there, or Peter goes in there, and he made like a script saying, like, in order to win MJ back, and
To explain everything to MJ and
yeah,
Ned, yeah.
to explain what happened and all that stuff, and to get them to remember him. And he was about to do it, and he stares at MJ, and he realizes they just got their MIT acceptance letters. And that's where I
Yeah.
was like, huh? Like, did they apply again, or is this before they got denied?"
Oh, you're right, yeah.
So I'm like, "What?" Like, I don't understand. But then I saw that MJ still had the little scar from the Statue of Liberty, so I'm like,
Mhm.
"Huh?"
Yeah.
So they did get denied, but now they just got accepted, I guess. So I'm like, I don't know. Um,
Well, didn't they, like didn't the person that Peter saved on the freeway talked to the dean about
I
them, so that's probably why they got
oh,
reaccepted,
maybe,
but they just don't know
maybe.
why they got reaccepted.
Yeah, it's probably that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kinda hard to do time travel movies. I'm not trying to bag on them for it, but, like, that was just, like, a little bit where I'm
There
just
was there was a
look
couple questions where I was just like, "Wait, this doesn't make any sense."
yeah. Like, I was
Like
just a little confused because 'cause I'm just like, "Hmm, okay." Like,
yeah.
is that 'cause it if no one remembers Peter, did everything happen and then everyone just forgot that Peter was involved? I'm assuming that's how it
That's what
went?
I think it is. It was Spider-Man that did
Yeah.
everything,
It was
not Peter
Spider-Man
Parker.
that did it. Yeah, that's probably
Yes.
okay, that makes a lot more sense. I could see that.
Spider-Man hasn't been forgotten about because J. Jonah Jameson mentions him
Yeah,
after the
Spider-Man
spell.
yeah, Spider-Man exists, but Peter Parker does not.
Does not, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense because then that does lead into him still being a part of the Infinity War and all that stuff, but it's
Yeah.
just that now nobody knew who Spider-Man was, right?
And before I get into, like, the part that didn't make any sense to me, I actually really like that because another big problem I had with the MCU Spider-Man movies was, like, he was just thrust into really huge situations immediately.
Yeah.
Like, he was never the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who lived in, like, a crummy apartment, who made his own suit, like, he was that for, like, 5 seconds, and then
Yeah.
he's like, "Alright, you're gonna fight Thanos now." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, he went 0 to 100.
So this movie did, like, a hard reset on all that, and I really dug that.
Oh, yeah. I do like
Um,
that, I do like that.
yes, it got me actually interested in wanting to see the next movies, so just being like, "Oh, shit, like, what are they gonna do?" You know?
Yeah,
Um,
it's because at the end of it, Peter decides not to say the script, and he just walks off.
yeah, he just walks away, so
Yeah, he
they
just
move
walks away.
on.
Yep. I think he realized that they're a lot happier without him at the
Yeah,
moment, so he's just like,
yeah.
"Okay," because it was just Ned and MJ hanging out like
Yeah,
normal, which I feel like
um,
maybe they're gonna start dating or something in the next movie.
maybe, who knows?
I thought they were gonna be together at the end scene there, but
Yeah,
I thought they were, but I guess not.
um,
And then he just walks off and he makes his new suit, which is very
yes.
reminiscent to
Oh,
the actual classic Spider-Man suit. It's
it's so
very bright,
glorious, yes.
so bright. It's super bright and blue, or super red and blue,
Yes, I love
super
it.
bright red and
It's
blue.
such a great looking suit.
Yeah, it's got the big eyes to it too,
Yeah,
and it looks very slick, like his suit would look like it looks very pajama, like,
yeah.
so it looks
It's
good.
yeah, the movie ends very well, like, he's no longer, like, the Tony Stark trust fund kid, like
Yeah, he's poor.
yeah,
He's in a shitty apartment by
yes.
himself.
It reminded me a lot of the apartment in the, Sam Raimi movies. It looked very similar to
Yeah,
me.
that's why I thought the Rent guy was gonna come out. He
Yeah.
didn't. No.
But, yeah, like, there were some aspects of this spell that didn't make really a whole lot of sense to me, and one of the big ones that I thought about was, like, does J. Jonah Jameson just delete his VODs? No, he still has those, right? Like, he can
Oh,
just
yeah.
look back. Like, someone has to be trying to catch up on the backlog of Spider-Man.
Well, I'm assuming the spell removes all that shit too, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Y
guess you could, but, like, where does it stop, you know? Like, do
yeah,
those the people in the beginning still have the pictures of him? You know what I
no,
mean?
I don't know. Maybe yeah, I don't know, okay? It's this
Yeah.
fucking this is a movie studio, they don't have to they're not fucking physicists,
See,
they're not gonna
that's the thing that's, like, funny to me, like, where Marvel's just like, "Shut the fuck up, just watch the
yeah,
movie."
yeah, I mean, it happens all the time in the comics where they're just like, "Everyone forgets." Okay.
Yeah.
And then nobody goes, "Oh, yeah, what about that one time that one guy took a picture of him, like,
And
he must have it?"
they shoot him in
Like
the head execution style.
yeah, you could for all I care, just say the fucking photos disappeared along with the knowledge of Spider-Man, I don't know.
That's when I was like,
Or maybe the video's corrupted and stuff like that, I don't know, you know?
yeah.
Like, just like, don't be a snob about it, like, come on.
I just thought it was funny when we came out of the theater, we were talking about it, and I said, like, "Wait, so does that mean that, like, the Tobey Maguire movies and the Andrew Garfield movies, like, never happened? Because, like, Alfred Molina doesn't go crazy, so he doesn't become Doctor Octopus,
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that a little
And
bit.
I think we were just decided like, "Ah, fuck it."
Yeah, we were just like, it doesn't make sense. They're just gonna leave
Yeah,
it
who
alone."
cares? And we were just like, I don't know, it was a good time, like, I had
Yeah.
a very good time watching this movie. There was some annoyances to me, like I said, I feel like the second act really slows down, um,
Mhm,
and in general, there's some pacing issues, but, like, the story elements didn't bother me at all. I was just entertained all throughout.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I did see something really funny on TikTok where it was like MJ the day after she forgets about Peter and she opens her phone, she's like, "Who the fuck is this guy on my lock screen?"
Yeah,
um,
I'm thinking everything just got erased or some shit.
yeah,
It's,
I
m
mean,
movie magic.
it's easy to get muddled in the details.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and especially,
Yeah,
like you're bringing it up, in bringing back all the villains back to their universes, cured, like, what happens to
like
those
the
universes.
movies just don't happen.
Yeah, like that, yeah, exactly, like, those movies just don't happen, but
But,
we're not gonna
whatever.
bring all
Yeah.
that up. That's literally just snob shit. It's like the one time where it's like some guy's like, "Yeah, Transformers wasn't very realistic, so 0 out of 10." It's like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. It's not supposed to be, okay? It's fucking,
Yeah,
transforming robots and shit." Like, and so, like, and it'd be the same argument for me as in this movie. It's like, so you're okay with the swinging spider guy, the magician that can go through universes, but then the time travel part is the part that fucks
that's
you
where
up.
you draw the
Yeah,
line, yeah.
no, it's like, shut the fuck up.
I
Like,
agree,
seriously.
yeah. Yeah, I
But,
agree.
yeah, and then that's pretty much it. He swings off and he's in the new suit, and it looks like they're gonna make a new trilogy with him being poor.
It was already kinda confirmed that he's coming back for
It
a
is. They're
trilogy.
already working on the 4th film, actually.
Yeah,
It's already been confirmed. They're working on the 4th film. His contract's been renewed for a new set,
yeah.
and, Venom will probably be involved this time.
So there was the post-credit scene,
Yeah.
because in the post-credit scene of Venom 2, which I didn't watch because 'cause I'm not a
What?
fucking
It's you
idiot,
don't got
uh,
it. Whatever.
um, so in the post-credit scene, he teleports to another dimension, and it shows Tom Holland on the TV, and they're like, "Oh shit, he's gonna cross over."
Yeah.
But they don't. I thought that was really funny. He just teleports back, like,
Yeah.
after everything gets
He
fixed, but he leaves
yeah.
behind a little piece of symbiote.
Yes. Which
And
also didn't make sense to me, but again, movie magic.
yeah, I'm like, "Wait, at what point did it fall off?" You know, like
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, if Venom and Eddie Brock go back to their universe, shouldn't the little piece that fell off go back too? Because it's part of him, but, you
well,
know,
it's an alien symbiote, you know? Maybe they don't
whatever.
follow the rules.
Whatever, but
Um,
it stays along and it indicates that he's gonna be the, uh, black suit Spider-Man soon.
yes, and probably the next
Oh,
one.
yeah, probably in the next one, to be honest. I really hope it's gonna be the slick Spider-Man suit, dude.
Mhm.
I feel like it will be because the suit that he's wearing now is very slick. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be the slick Spider-Man suit. I hope so, with the big white spider on it.
Mhm.
Dude, I would
Oh,
come.
okay, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I would come.
Yes, oof, it looks so good.
Yeah,
I'll
I hope
post a
it's that.
picture of it. Yeah, because the Sam Raimi one with Venom, it was just a black version of his normal suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
um,
exactly, but in the comic books, it's a slick black suit with a white spider on it.
yeah, it looks
That's like
really cool.
yeah, the black suit symbiote suit, and
Yeah,
everyone loves that shit, and I would love it if they showed that, which I
but,
think they will.
yeah,
But yeah, he's
so
poor now.
this movie set up some nice things. I'll be honest, I wasn't super excited about it. Like, the only reason I went to see it was because Paul had an extra ticket.
Yeah.
Um, but I ended up
Oh,
having a really good time. I think it's the best of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
yeah, I think so.
And it got me kind of like pumped for the future ones. I was pretty disillusioned with Marvel, but I took a nice break from it, and I think I'm like ready to enjoy the Spider-Man movies again.
Mhm, mhm. I think it's a
Yeah.
very nice movie, very good. I think it's fun for all ages
Yes.
and a lot of callbacks for the Spider-Man nerds. Some may
Hmm.
say a little too much. I don't know how it would I don't know how I would feel going
Yeah.
into this movie as a non-Spider-Man fan, like, would
Yeah.
I be
Who
bored?
knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I I think there's enough in there where it's, like, funny and stuff like
Yeah.
that. If you don't know who the other Spider-Man are, you probably might get confused. Like, you might not understand all of the jokes that they talk about
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the other films. But
Okay, so before we end, I did mention at the beginning that this movie doesn't have a heart,
yeah.
and I want to elaborate that on that a little bit. If this movie had released like before Into the Spider Verse, I would probably have a different opinion of it. But
Mhm.
I think that Into the Spider Verse is like a masterful way to make a movie like this.
Dude.
Like, without getting into too much detail or whatever, I
Mhm.
still to this day tear up. I've seen this movie like 18 times. I still tear up when Miles does the leg sweep on Peter B. Parker and says, "You gotta go home, man." I
Oh,
still tear up at that scene. It's
good scene.
so well done because it's a strong, like, emotional story between all the characters. And I felt nothing close to that between the three Spider-Man in this movie.
Nah, it wasn't as good, I'll be
No,
honest. They're
like it
not as
Eh,
much.
I think it relied very heavily on
Well,
nostalgia and callbacks.
yeah, I think so too, I will be
Yeah.
honest. But I also blame the fact that Toby and Edge didn't really show up until, like, the last third of the movie.
Yeah, they were sprinkled throughout, like, they came in the second act, but you're right, they weren't in it a whole lot. They were,
Yeah, they were mainly 3rd act for the big fight,
like,
so
maybe 30 minutes total throughout the 2 hour and 20-minute long movie.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
While as in, like, Into the Spider-Verse, like, Peter B. Parker was there
he's in it
maybe
for the whole thing. It's like
yeah,
a
he's there for
mentorship t I understand it's like a different kind of movie, but,
yeah,
like, I feel like you could have told such a great story of, like, mentorship and, like, passing the torch. But they just kind of didn't, and that was really disappointing to me.
yeah,
Because these movies are extremely nostalgic to me. I grew up watching the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Like, I feel like it was such an easy thing to do, um, but they just didn't. And I did like how Tobey Maguire was like the grizzled veteran that nothing surprised him.
yeah, yeah.
um, but again, that's why I say like this movie doesn't really have a heart to it compared to Spider Verse. Like,
Mhm.
Spider-Verse is how you do a crossover movie like this.
They
It
did
set the standard.
they might bring in Miles to the live screen soon
Who knows? That'd be pretty
'cause,
cool.
I mean, they kinda mentioned it a couple times already in the first
Yeah,
Spider-Man film,
yeah.
Homecoming. You got
Oh, you're
Prowler
right, the
and
Prowler, yep,
yeah, you got the Prowler and him talking to Miles,
yep.
saying he won't make it because he's webbed up to the car.
Yeah.
And then, in this No Way Home film, Electro, he sees, Andrew Garfield, and he goes, "Oh man, I thought you would have been black."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that was a pretty funny scene.
so it's like, okay, like, they're
Yeah,
alluding to Miles again, you know?
yeah,
Oh, he
um,
no, he says there's gotta be a black Spider-Man
meant
somewhere out
somewhere,
there,
yeah.
so who
I
knows?
I like that Miles is getting more attention. I think he
Yeah,
deserves it. He's a
he's a good
great
character.
fucking character,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a good character,
yeah.
but,
Um
I would say what would you rate this movie?
Oh, I hate doing ratings out of
Okay,
10.
do it okay, we could do a different hmm, we didn't think about the rating system, did we? Uh,
I would let's just say this. I would
let
recommend it.
just give me just yeah, just give me a normal bar talk kind of recommendation, like, would you
Okay.
see it? Would you not see it? Good time with beer, not beer, you know?
um, I would see it if you are a really big fan of Spider-Man, um, because it has like everything that you could ever want as a fan of the Spider-Man movies specifically.
Mhm,
Because I'm not a comic book guy. Um, it's the best of the Tom Holland movies. But if you're not a fan of Spider-Man and you don't generally like comic book movies, then stay away because this is like the most comic book movie I can think of.
okay.
um, there's not enough, I think, for a non-Spider-Man fan to chew on with this movie, I
Mm,
would say.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I, uh, I would say I would recommend it,
Mhm.
if you just want I think I said it earlier, if you just want, like, a popcorn movie,
Yep.
just, you can watch this one. I wouldn't say it's super brain dead. Like if you went to go see Venom, I'd say like, yeah, you can shut your brain off. Go just go and watch it with popcorn. Like, who cares?
Enjoy the blobs
Like,
fighting each other.
yeah, but this one is less that because there's more like relationship shit. But
Yeah.
um, I think it's still a fun enough time. If you're not a Spider-Man fan, you probably won't understand too many of the callbacks, but I think you could still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Specifically for like the fights. I think the fights are great,
Yes. Yes, the
and the
fights are
jokes.
really entertaining.
I think some of the jokes are good, even
Yeah.
without the knowledge of Spider-Man. Like the cobweb scene that like that's just
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I would, yeah, I think it's just a good time for everyone. I think anyone
It's
can do this one.
It's a fun time, yes, it's very entertaining, like, I don't wanna make it I mean, we spent, like, what, almost an hour and 20 and almost an hour and a half just gushing about how much we like this movie, so I
Yeah.
don't want my final thoughts to be on it to be like, "Yeah, it's alright." I enjoyed this movie.
I enjoyed it a lot, but that's
Yes.
coming from me, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to relate it to the rest of you know, the crusties out there.
All you crusties, yeah,
So, it's like, if you're not a Spider-Man film fan, I think you would still like it.
yeah,
Honestly, I think you would still like it.
maybe just not get as much out of it.
Yeah, you would, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a good yes. If I had
yeah.
to put it, like, on a rating system, yeah,
Mm.
it'd be like those fans would probably put it, like, maybe 2 points under than the
Mhm.
regular fans,
Yep,
you know?
that's true. Yeah,
So,
so that's it. That's our first episode of a show that I'm calling Crusty Couch Goes to the Movies.
that
Soup.
that's too long! Damn,
Oh, sorry,
crusty movies.
Crusty Couch semicolon Paul and Noah go to the
Oh
movies and make
my
out.
god. It's called something like crusty movies, damn!
Okay, so we're gonna call it Crusty Couch semicolon.
Oh my we'll figure it out.
All right.
Semicolon apostrophe.
But we're gonna actually spell out semicolon. We're not gonna just put the
Oh.
icon. We're gonna. um, but anyways, this is gonna be a super infrequent series where we just talk about movies we really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like I know for sure we're gonna do one on Spider Verse 2 when that comes
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Like
Well, we'll make this a separate playlist or something.
yes, it's a subsequent podcast, so it won't interrupt the episode that's coming out on Friday. It won't interrupt that. It's just
Yeah,
a separate thing if you
precisely.
want to hear our thoughts on Spider Man
Yeah,
or
or
on
other
movies in
movies.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the movies in general that come out.
But yeah, so that's the first episode. We enjoyed this. We enjoyed Spider Man. Looking forward to the next ones. Um,
Yes.
if you enjoyed listening to us ramble on about this character, share it with your friends. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the main podcast platforms, and
Woo!
most
Spread it out,
importantly,
baby.
on YouTube too. You know, feel free to like and subscribe and
Find us
share
on
with your
the World
friends.
Wide Web.
Yes, sir. Look for us on. We got a MySpace. We got a Tumblr. We got
MySpace, Moco Space.
Mocos with damn. That's a fucking throwback. Holy shit. Um,
Yahoo,
we're we're on all
AOL,
the major ones
Slack, Messenger.
like Blogspot.
Find us
Yeah.
on Skype. Yeah.
Find us on Skype.
Boop, boop, boop.
Anyways, thanks so much for listening, guys, and we will see you next time for another episode of Crusty Couch Goes to the Movies, semicolon, Paul and Noah make out into the Spider-Verse.
Part 6
Yeah.
out of 20
Oh gosh.
extended. Director's cut. Unrated.
Okay, let's stop.